Welcome to the latest data management guide. In this task, we're going to look at how we can perform some what-if analysis. And to do that, we'll be using Excel. We're going to navigate to the what-if file. And for ease, I've placed that on the desktop. In this file, we're given some information relating to the sale of some dogs. It contains the price of a dog at £475 and the number that have been sold, 3. There's then a simple calculation multiplying the price of a dog by the number sold to give us a total sale, and in this case it's £1,425. We've then got an ideal profit margin. We're looking at reaching £2,500. We've then got some conditional formatting, which is simply saying if the ideal profit has been hit. So if it's £2,500 or above, it will say yes and go green, and if it's under £2,500, it will say no, as it currently does. Well, the question becomes, how many dogs do we need to sell to reach that target? Well, of course, we could do it by hand. We could simply keep changing the number of sold dogs until we realise that we get to a point where we sold a given quantity to hit our ideal profit. However, putting that back, we can ask the computer to perform a goal seek. In other words, it can work out for us how many need to be sold to reach that target. Well, let's find out how we do it. We're going to go to the Data tab in the ribbon. We're going to click on the What If Analysis button, and we're going to go to Goal Seek. When we get here, we're given some options. First of all, we're going to look at our set sale. This is the price that we're currently at, and I'm going to change that to our total sale price, currently at £1,425. The goal we want to reach is our ideal profit margin, £2,500. Now in this case, we're not going to be able to change the price of a dog, but we might look at how many dogs that we need to sell. So we're going to change the number of sold dogs. This gives us a current total sales, the value that we want to get to, and then what we can change to get to that target. In other words, how many more dogs do we need to sell to hit that value? If we press OK, we'll notice that now we've got a given amount sold. We need to sell 5.2 dogs to achieve that goal. Now obviously, in this example, we're unable to sell 5.2 dogs. But selling 5 dogs wouldn't actually hit our target. So to finish this goal seek scenario off, we will input the Roundup function. So we'll type equals roundup, open our bracket, keep our value within, comma, and type 0 for 0 decimal places, close our bracket, and press enter. And so our goal seek has told us that we need to sell 6 dogs to achieve that target. And of course, this works very quickly. So we could change our particular profit margin up to anything that we would require. For example, let's imagine we wanted to make £50,000. We can go to our what if analysis and goal seek. We can set to our current sales. We can change to our value now to our 50,000 target. And again, we can find out how many we would need to sell to achieve that. And again, we've got to a point where we need to round because we can't have anything more than a single value for a dog. So we'll take that number, we'll type equals roundup, open our bracket, leave the number in, comma, 0, close our bracket, and in this case, to make our £50,000 target, would need to sell 106. And so this is how a goal-seek scenario works. For the second what-if analysis task, we're going to look at creating scenarios. And again, I'm going to navigate to my file location here on the desktop and open up the scenarios worksheet. This scenario is quite a basic one. I've got a given amount of income, £2,500 a month, and I've got lots of different expenditures. £1,000 on rent, £400 on food, some car insurance, mobile phone, etc, etc. And I've created a very simple formula that says, how much money am I spending? In other words, the sum of all of this. And then what am I left with? Taking away a given monthly income away from the expenditure. Now this works well, but what I might want to do is look at different scenarios. For example, what if my monthly income suddenly goes up? What if something changes with my rent or the food prices change? Well, we can use scenarios within Excel to make this a simple task. And let's take a look at how we're going to do this. This is an added part to the task which you don't need to do, but it makes it significantly easier. Now in this worksheet, I've actually changed the names of the cells very slightly. If you look at cell A1, it's named A1. But actually what I've done for my income and my expenditures is I've named each of these cells. So clicking on C2, it's no longer called C2, it's been named as monthly income. And the same for rent, for food, for car insurance, etc. It's a very simple task to do. You simply click on a given one, for example treats. I've already named it treats, but originally that would have been named C11, and I can call it whatever I want to call it. Now I'm going to go back to calling it treats in this case. So when we get to this part, we now want to look at creating a scenario. I'm going to select my income and my expenditures, holding down Control to select only the cells that contain the information. And I'm going to go to Data, What If, Scenario Manager. I'm going to add a new scenario. It's now populated the cells that I had initially. And I'm going to add a comment to this. This is going to be my original costings. And I'm going to give a scenario name as original. This is what I've currently got. And I want to keep it this way, so whenever I change something, I can always go back to where I am. I can press OK. You'll notice I've now got the values of all my different costings. And you'll also notice that they've been given names. They've got names, which makes it easier to see, because of where I originally changed the names of the cells. And so that's why we did that at the start. It makes looking at this information much easier. Well, I can press OK, and I've now got my original scenario. Well, this is where scenarios now come in. What I'm going to do is now create some new scenarios, perhaps where my income changes, or perhaps where my income changes, but also so does my expenditure. So let's imagine I suddenly get a promotion at work and my monthly income goes up. I'm going to click on the Add button and I'm going to call this one Promotion. Again, I'm going to change my comment because I've now got myself a new job and I'm going to get myself some more money. Pressing OK, I'm now given all of my previous fields where my expenditures and my income is. I've still got all the values that I had originally. However, perhaps in this example, my promotion is now allowing me to have £3,000 a month. If I press OK, and I can then click on Promotion and click Show, it will update. And suddenly, I've got quite a lot of money left over at each month. Well, let's now try a different one. Going back to my original, if I now click Add, and I call this one Disaster, and this might be perhaps a lower paid job and higher expenditure, I can go through by pressing OK and changing some information. Perhaps now I'm paid £1,000 a month. Everything stays the same, but food has also gone up. I can then look at this disaster outcome and I'll notice that suddenly I'm in a bit of financial difficulty each month. So scenarios allow us to keep an original costing and then change depending on outcomes.